people looked at me as if I was insane, but it was like over the time, like we're on a time. And I just kind of threw my hands up, and I literally just did I held my finger up like one more with a kind of a look, and just the thunder of it was this like, the sonic boom when a jet fighter goes by, and then in 2 seconds later, this kind of noise, window rattling. I just literally held my finger up like one more.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to go back there and be like, looked at him, and Billy just kind of gave me a nod. It's like, yeah, okay.
It
Like,
is
no big deal.
time.
Let's talk about Billy Strings for a moment. I read a letter that you penned to Bob Lefsetz about Billy Strings and how he was one of the first artists to reach out and offer support for a charity drive for you guys during COVID. So tell me, how did Jay Sweet and Billy Strings first happen? Do you remember when you first heard of him, or maybe
I
met
remember
him?
it. I remember the whole thing like it's a bad romance novel. I was invited before I was blacklisted by Polestar. We've made up by them. Polestar is this industry newsletter thing. It's a business, business
Who's
magazine.
selling the most tickets?
Yeah, that kind of thing, right? So they had this. They had a conference, and I was asked to be on a panel for. And I honestly think the title of something is, "Can the Independent Music Festival Survive?" And the irony was at that point that their number one, the people who had just bought Polestar were the people like Oakview, who were the ones who have a lot of money into Live Nation. So I thought it was ironic that there's this panel about, can the independent independent music festival survive? And quite frankly, we're one of the last true independent music festivals of our kind of heritage. We're a nonprofit. We're not AEG. We're not Live Nation. So not to go off script, and I will land the plane in a second, but so I remember kind of throwing a tirade. I've since come to like the people at Polestar a lot more, but I threw this kind of tirade on the actual stage. Like when I say mic drop, it wasn't just I said something pithy. I went into a tirade basically and just put the mic on my seat and got up and walked off the panel in the middle of the panel. And
Wow.
when I was walking back to my hotel to pack my bags, to leave the whole thing, I ran into this guy named Bill Orner, who is this unbelievable person. And he came running up to me and he said, I wanted to say, hi, my name is Bill Orner. I'm working with this guy, Billy Strings. And everything you just kind of lost your shit about is what we're about. And it's about the authenticity, about doing it and building it one fan at a time, and slow and organic, and throwing out the rule book and blah, 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 blah. And we ended up taking this like long walk. I remember distinctly. And he had this jean jacket with the Billy Strings kind of chain stitched on it. And we talked forever. And I hadn't even really gotten to know Billy's music really well. I saw it live once at a kind of a festival, a picking kind of festival. And then my friend Molly Tuttle was like, you got to know my housemate, Billy Strings. And I was like, well, I just met his manager. And she's like, you're going to be blown away. And so then skip ahead to, we put him on the festival a couple of times. And then I got a call. Like I didn't even reach out to Billy and Bill. They called me because they saw that we decided in the pandemic to give every dollar that we had left into this thing called the Music Relief Fund. And many artists, and some of the artists you've actually had on the show, signed up for it. And it was basically anybody that's ever played Newport folk or Newport jazz could just apply for a grant. And if we had any money left, we just gave it to them.
Wow.
No matter whatever they needed. We just figured they wouldn't ask for more than what they needed. And there was a huge trust in that. And when we said that, we just said, hey, look, it was the day that, I think it was like the day or the day after we announced that the festival wasn't going to happen. We had a little bit of money left. We had no idea if we'd ever survive again, but we're like, if we're going to go out swinging, it's kind of like holding a Snickers bar to yourself on a lifeboat. Like if there's 10 other people on the lifeboat, you split the Snickers bar 10 ways.
Right.
Mhm.
You don't like eat it yourself. So we just gave whatever little money we had left, we gave it to all the artists that had played Newport over the years. And we got a call from Bill and Billy, and they're like, hey, listen, we've been crushing it on merch, and we're going to give, the merch sales, this next big merch sales, we're going to give it to this program, all of it. And I just started crying on the phone. I'm getting a little bit clamped talking about it, but that's how you create bonds, and that's how you become folk family. You know that if there's a small nonprofit like Newport, we're so small, but we're this well-known brand, but we're just so small. Like we're 10,000 people a day, like Coachella's 100,000 people a day, we're 1/10 the size of like some of the other people we get mentioned in. I remember I always get these even when Billy, like for example, like Billy Strings playing all the big events. He's playing, Lollapalooza or ACL and Newport. And it's funny because the other two things you just named are literally 10 times bigger than us, but we get named in that. And I really like that. I always say, what Billy Strings doesn't have to do? Play Newport. But you know what Billy Strings does? He plays Newport. He plays Newport for about 1/10 what he can usually get, because we take the money that we make and we make sure that there's music education for people that can't have it. And if an artist gets in trouble and loses their van or falls on bad luck, we're gonna write them a check.
That's truly
amazing.
Yes, so epic, and real and heartwarming, and what it's all about. And we got someone in the chat, Leah Zamani says, I'm eternally grateful to Jay Sweet for many things. One of them is the introduction to Billy Strings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very, very
She's
good.
a great person. I like that the hardcore folk are out. I'm happy that they're supporting me in this little endeavor that we're doing, because they are honestly the most incredible fan base. Because think of that trust. I mean, literally, like Mike and Kai and EJ, think of the last time you parted with, a couple $100 to go see music, but you have no idea what the music is. Tell me the last time you guys did that.
Well, one of my favorite festivals that doesn't exist anymore, it's called Camp Barefoot. And I went 8 years in a row. And I used to like not even pay attention to the lineup, because it's like the party and the event and the people, like that's what I go for. And the music is just the background to facilitate, those good times. Right. And so I feel like it's exactly, because, it's like you said, a lot of trust, where it's like, I'm going to get the ticket and I know it's going to be good every year. And that's because of your organization's hard work.
Yeah,
it's all trust. It's all trust.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like most people just look at the lineup, they judge it off of that. Yeah, definitely.
Well, most music festivals is just a lineup with a logo at the top.
Yeah, it doesn't have any.
Yeah.
The
crazy thing is in that year, we were the first festival back post-pandemic, literally in America. And which was kind of, I thought, symbolic, since we were America's first festival. Right. When we all went into the pandemic not knowing if there were going to be music festivals anymore. I clearly remember that time. So when us being the first ones back, we went a step further, where, because usually we sell all the tickets and then we slowly announce one artist at a time. And that one, we basically didn't announce artists. Like 60% or so of the artists, we just didn't. When I say didn't announce, I mean like you walked on site and it was like, ladies and gentlemen, Shaka Khan, ladies and gentlemen, back, like from the stage, like, so you're like out in the audience, and these aren't some, these are some big. Hey, welcome Randy Newman and Jason Isbell, and like it's just kind of funny, like.
Well, in a way, if you really think about it, when you have the those kind of acts and everybody puts your trust in you. On your musical selection and everything like that. How great that would be, just sitting there and be like, what? You just totally like freak out.
I freak out. I'm the biggest music fan of anybody that's there. Still not lost to me what I do.
Wow.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
We're here with Jay Sweet, listening to Billy Strings featuring Willie Nelson from a brand new single that's just a few weeks old, April 28th, 2023. We're listening to California Sober right here on Galaxy Jams Reacts.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Well, I used to like to ramble with my good time
from friends and neighbors. Now I find I'd rather lie awake in bed. And I don't get to acting mean when I keep my buzzes clean and keep the hard stuff in the whiskey from my head. Well, I guess that's just the trouble when you're always seeing double and the lines are getting twice as hard to see. I've had years I don't recall, but I'm told I had a ball, at least somebody did, who looked a lot like me. So I'm California sober, as they say, and lately I can't find no other way.
Gotta have a little Mickey on the harmonica too.
Like
I love their harmonies. It's good.
I'm California sober, as they say.
Man, he's so quick.
Did you hear what Willie just said?
He said, pick it, Billy.
Good God, he is super fast.
Well, I heard out in the hills, they got pills to get their thrills, and they love their liquor down in New Orleans. Maybe far out New York minute, sugar cane will fit the bill, but in no time flat, you're out of what you need. The old crew don't get together anymore these days much ever, and some went straight and some went straight to jail. Now they're busy posting vids
There you
and
go.
just trying to raise their kids, instead of raising holy hell and posting bail.
Well, I'm California sober, as they say, and lately I can't find no other way. I can't stay out and party like I did back in the day, so I'm California sober, as they say.
So ripping.
So lovely.
I was California sober till I thought the world was over. Now I'm sitting on the roadside once again. When that wagon passes by, I don't even bat an eye, 'cause the devil on my shoulder always wins. When that old wagon passes by, I don't even bat an eye, 'cause the devil on my shoulder always wins.
How awesome is that?
I'm glad it was smoky as hell when he got out of
Oh,
there.
hell yeah.
Hot box in the bus. Yeah, you know, that was released right before Willie's 90th.
Right.
And it's just, I got to be honest, like, I'm really, really impressed with Willie on that, because
Yeah.
that phrasing and the speed of that phrasing is not simple.
No.
Right.
No.
Like, if you listen to Willie singing, like, that shit is not, like, that's not, you know, to be able to deliver at that speed with which Billy, you know,
Mhm.
Lightning Billy Strings. So
Absolutely.
if you can deliver your phrasing, your vocal phrasing at 90 years old,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
give you
legendary.
whatever he's smoking, because
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to do that.
Willie's so awesome too. Just how he sits in with people, and he still keeps going. He's still going. You know, that man. He loves to perform. It's one thing I just always have loved about him.
It's amazing, but I got to be honest, like, that just goes to show what Billy Strings means to people, because yeah, Willie sits in, but you know, he plays with people who are not you know, in and out pop stars.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
He only lends his name to people he feels have the touch, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and that are going to be part of the firmament for years and years to come. That's like, it's like a testimonial. If Willie does a song with you, it means you've been anointed as a person who's going to be a lifer.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I feel like
Absolutely.
every single person in that video was just thrilled to be there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Losing their minds while playing. Like, that's so cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, I mentioned that you wrote that letter about Billy Strings to Bob
I did.
Lefsetz. And in that letter, you said that in my 15 years, I've only given 7 encores. And let's just say if I hadn't given Billy and the Boys another song last summer, I wouldn't have made it out of that fort alive. Do you know?
True. I want to see if anybody in the chat remembers that. I mean, it was, I don't do it. I do it when the audience demands it. And I've been there for 15 years. I've seen the level of Krungbin got one of them. That was close to the kind of level I saw. Nathaniel Rateliff got one, but the Billy one was like, people looked at me as if I was insane, but it was like over the time, like we're on a time. And I just kind of threw my hands up, and I literally just did I held my finger up like one more with a kind of a look, and just the thunder of it was this like literally like when a the sonic boom when a jet fighter goes by, and then in 2 seconds later this kind of noise, window rattling. I just literally held my finger up like one more, and I remember I had to go back there and be like, looked at him, and Billy just kind of gave me a nod. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, no big deal. And I was just like, you don't understand how rare it is, man. Like 15 years, 75 bands each year. You guys can do the math, but that's a lot of sets that I've been witness to. And that was a pretty big one.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Leah Zemeni in the chat said that she was in the front row and it was the best time.
Yeah, it really was. It was awesome.